Kamala is in trouble.
But did Biden set her up to fail?
Let's talk about it, y'all. Middle America. Well, what's up, everybody? I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And we are
Here
Americans.
for Vin to fill me in on what is happening in the political realm.
We are Americans.
Fill me in, Vinny. What's happening?
Oh, I just found a really good intro. Okay. So, you're going to love this idea. Having said that, Miss Kamala Harris, God bless her, but Miss Harris has just wrapped up a trip to Guatemala.
Oh, okay. What's she doing there?
Well, she was talking about, Mr. Biden, because there's a massive crisis at the border.
Yeah.
Kids in cages. You know the cages that Mr. Biden's predecessor, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama. Remember how everybody was saying, wait a second, Trump is horrible for putting the kids in the cages, but what about the people who built the cages? And all of our liberal friends were saying, hey, that's whataboutism. Obama is not the president, Trump is. I agree. Here's the problem, though. When Mr. Trump vacated the premises, Mr. Biden filled the premises, and there's still people in cages.
Right.
So then, I already shot this video. Miss Harris said,
she told them, "Don't come.
Don't come." She
Don't
says,
come twice.
She says, we're going to enforce our laws, and we're going to secure our border, which is literally Mr. Trump's talking points. Mr. Trump said, we're going to secure the border.
At least he was
and
honest
we're
about
going to enforce
it.
our laws.
Because he said it before he even got in there.
Correct.
He was talking about the wall and all
He
that.
ran on that.
Right.
He ran on that. He ran on the wall. And so Kamala gets up there and she tells those people, don't come over here. After she made such an impassioned plea, don't you guys remember? She made such an impassioned plea. Let me help you guys.
Let's listen to the president on immigration.
Yeah. Vanity project, and it's because he's not dealing with the real issues impacting people in our country, like the fact that almost half of American families can't afford a $400 unexpected expense. And on the issue of immigration, he has also defied who we are morally and who we say we are to the world. We have always presented ourselves as being a nation of strength with strong arms, that when people are fleeing harm, we will embrace them.
Oh my gosh.
But look at what has happened with this administration. There are children who are fleeing murder capitals of the world. Let's be clear about this. Imagine a mother who makes a decision to pay a coyote to transport her child across the entire country of Mexico, facing unknown peril. She does that because she believes for that child to stay where they are is worse. But what does this president do? He virtually looks at those children and says, go back to where you came from. What do we have?
Oh my gosh, babe.
Go back to where you came from. That is I mean, that's a real impassioned plea there, Sori. Why were you...
That's because I already saw her.
Why were you so animated?
I already saw her telling them not to come.
Kamala looked at she said, don't come over here. She said, we're going to enforce our... She said, we're going to enforce our laws and secure our border. Don't come over here.
I could not be a two-faced politician.
But when she was running for office, that's what she said. Now... Of course.
And she went through all this emotional discussion.
Oh, it's very
about
emotional.
It too.
Very emotional.
I mean, the stuff that she said was facts. Like,
facts.
That's a problem.
Facts. So you know what happened? I shot a video on this, and I criticized her like everybody else on the planet Earth did for her hypocrisy and just overall being not completely forthright about her intentions when she was running. Let me say it that way, because I'm really trying to not speak evil of a rule of your people. The Bible says you need to honor your leaders because God put them in place. And if you need to criticize them, you have to criticize them on biblical grounds and leave the ad hominem out of it. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Now, my good friend Mark P, in one of the comments, he said, here's Vin taking Kamala out of context. He said, Kamala, here's the whole speech. Why didn't you play the whole speech? It's a YouTube channel, and I'm not going to play a 2-hour speech or a 45-minute speech on a YouTube channel.
It's not practical.
And on top of that, I asked him, I said, did AOC take her out of context too? Because AOC criticized her. I said, did she do that too? You know what he said? He said, I don't know what's going on in her head, but you did. I said, okay, tell me exactly what my video did that was deceptive. Of course, there was no answer. But here, though, is the real kicker about this. Here is the real kicker to this. So today, CNN tells us the following.
Oh, boy.
Vice President Kamala Harris back in the United States this morning after a trip to Guatemala and Mexico, her first foreign trip as vice president. This morning, we're told that some of what she said on the trip, her answers to questions, maybe even obvious questions, those answers have White House insiders perplexed.
So, not only did I take Kamala out of context, not only did AOC take Kamala out of context, but Biden's own folks took her out of context. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you hear a leak, it's because the guy at the top wanted the leak leaked. So that means that after Kamala's horrible meltdown, Biden authorized a leak from CNN to say, we're perplexed at her answers. So everybody is taking her out of context now. Or maybe the people who interpreted her words as being completely contradictory and horrible were right. Now, they said that they were perplexed. They said some of the questions were obvious and simple. That's really interesting. So there was an interview after she made the go home comment.
First of all, why was she in Guatemala?
Because
I know there's a bunch of murders over there. Does that have anything to do with that? Or is it always
so there's this Latin American triangle. I think it's Venezuela, Guatemala, and then there's one more. Mm-hmm. And it's completely horrible. High crime rates, murders, sex trafficking, stuff like that. So all these people are heading up north to Mexico to the border so that they can get in on refugee status. And we've been tracking that almost every day on Middle America because I'm an immigrant. So obviously I have a vested interest in what happens to immigrants. Right. And so the second story we did was about how Biden authorized a $260 million private prison deal so that when these people who are fleeing for their lives and the lives of their children, when they hit the border, we put them in an ICE facility and pay them $1 a day to do slave labor while their kids hang out in the Obama cages. So that's what we've been tracking. So this is why I said at the beginning that Biden set her up to fail. Biden handed off the border situation to Kamala. All you people see, when you were a big mocker of Biden and his intellect and all the rest of it. And I said, do not do that. One, because you shall not speak evil or rule your people. But the second thing is and I've been saying to everybody, I don't believe that Biden is dumb. I don't believe he's an idiot. You know what I think? Biden's been in the game for longer than you and I have been alive. You know what happened? I think Biden looked at that border and he knew that the nonsense that they were all running on is in no way, shape, or form actionable. This man has significant experience. Yeah. Say what you want, but he knew. This is what I believe.
I think you're right.
He looked at the math and he said, there's no way in hell I'm going to come out looking good here, because he knew all the nonsense that they were talking about when they were running for office about the border was all BS. And he said, I'm going to put Kamala on this, because he knew that there was no way in the world that Kamala was going to be able to come out of this with her head on her shoulders. There's no way. He knew it. He's smart. He's very smart. Because who have I been talking about for the last 4 or 5 videos? Kamala. Who's everybody been talking to about? Kamala. And Biden is getting off no problem.
Jeez.
So you can go ahead and think that he's an idiot all you want. Nobody's even thinking about this. I'm watching all these other newscasts.
Seriously?
Nobody's even putting it because everybody assumes Biden's just some dolt. Hey, Biden's a president of the United States of America. He found some way to get the most powerful position on the planet Earth known to human history. Say what you want. He's smart. He put that. He set that girl up. Now watch this. Astaghfirullah, I shouldn't do it, but holy moly. Guys, she did an interview. She did an interview in Guatemala to deal with what she did. And you guys, sorry, you're going to have to see this to believe it because holy moly.
Put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
There you come. Drop top riding. You ain't no pimp fake nigga. Stop lying.
So wait, she has not been to the border, but
Hell
she was
no.
trying to make it look like she had by saying we.
It was just strange.
Did he ask her, are you going to the border?
He said, are you going to go to the border? She's like, we've been to the border.
Well, no, she
did
some hesitation.
He said, but you haven't been to the border. I was surprised when I saw that. I said, holy smoke. Some accountability. You haven't been to the border. You lying. Help me, Lord. Let's watch it again.
Put a button.
Yeah, please.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
Seeing as how, Kamala, you're in charge of solving this problem.
She started to say at some point, which is such a bad answer. What do you mean at some point?
Hey.
This is like a major border crisis going on, and at some point, you're going to mosey over there? You know what I'm saying?
I completely It's true. It's a freaking it's an emergency that's been going on for quite some time. What do you mean at some point? You're right. What are you talking about, Ross? And look at her. We've been to the border. Okay. All right. Now you got to stop. You got to stop and let me finish this clip now. Stop making me laugh.
The border.
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border.
We've been to the border.
So bad.
You're lying. You've never been to the border.
Well, she's saying we as in...
Yeah, exactly.
Who's we?
Yeah, exactly. So we have this problem with our children, okay? This is what... You're not going to let me get through this fucking review. Listen. Sori and I, on the one hand, we freelance as YouTubers, but our main occupation is... Sori and I are detectives / CSI investigators.
And referees.
We do all the forensics. So our kids, what they'll do is you'll say, did you make your bed? And they'll say, I have made my bed.
I have made my bed.
Well, that's true because I have made my bed is a past tense term.
Right.
You see. So there's a sense in which that is true. So you have to follow up and say, but did you do it today? Or you have to say something like, if I go downstairs right now, will it be made? Mm-hmm. And then he'll go, well, no. Yeah, they always do that look. Well, no.
You will always say, it's a simple yes or no. Did you make your bed?
Yeah. So that's you got to corner him with. So here comes. She says, we have been to the border. And
that question she was not prepared for.
And that's why I'm saying that Biden is setting her up. You mean to tell me... Okay, let me get this straight. Hillary Clinton got the answers to the test beforehand when she was debating Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't have a TV? You don't have YouTube? Everybody on the planet.
What
from
is happening?
CNN, Fox News, Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, Jimmy Dore, AOC, everybody's been frying you over this. How could you not know that this would be a problem?
So, but babe, I'm still confused. Why was she in Guatemala?
Because
why was she in Guatemala and not at our border?
Because what she and you know what? This argument is it has some merit to it. She's saying, I'm dealing with the root causes. I want to go over to the places where the people are coming and figure out what's going on in your country that's making everybody flee over here. That's a very good argument on its face. The problem is we all know what the problem is in Latin America. Kamala, you're playing games with these people's lives, bro. Don't make me angry. Now let's watch this again. Stop interrupting me. Look at her face. Look at her.
Oh no.
She said,
struggling.
What had happened was
like what?
What had happened was we've been to the border. Look at my man.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
You haven't been to the border, though.
Hey, please play it. I want to know what she says. What did she say?
It's just hilarious. We've been to the border. Yeah, but you haven't been to the border.
Yeah.
Very well done, person, whoever you are.
The border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting the importance of the border.
Well, I mentioned it because even I know Republicans have certainly come at you on this, but Democratic Congressman Cuellar has a border district has said to you and the president, come. You need to see this.
Listen, I care. We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
And I haven't